We all want our lives to mean something, but we often have a very strange picture of what that should look like. We spend decades waiting for a moment of clarity, a sudden lightning strike that reveals our purpose. We imagine that one day we'll finally figure it out, we'll find the right work, the right goal, the right philosophy, and suddenly life will make sense. But meaning works exactly the opposite way. Here are 8 truths about life meaning that most people learn far too late. First, meaning is not found, it is built. People talk about finding your purpose like it's hidden behind a tree somewhere, but most meaning comes from commitment. You choose something, you stay with it, you suffer for it a little, you improve, you care, and slowly it starts to matter. Meaning is not a lightning strike, it's a relationship you build with your life. Number 2. A meaningful life is not always a happy life. This is difficult to come to terms with. We think meaning should feel like peace, clarity, and constant motivation. But many meaningful things are uncomfortable. Raising children, building a business, training seriously, caring for aging parents, telling the truth, starting over. Meaning often feels less like I'm happy and more like this is hard, but it matters. Number 3. Your life becomes meaningful when you become useful to something beyond your mood. If your whole life is organized around how you feel today, you become trapped by weather. Meaning begins when something becomes more important than your temporary state. A craft, a person, a mission, a promise, a responsibility, a standard. Not because feelings don't matter, but because feelings are not big enough to organize an entire life around them. Number 4. You don't need a grand purpose, you need a real one. Most people wait for a movie-like purpose to justify their existence, but real meaning is usually smaller and less dramatic. Make your home warmer, become stronger, tell better stories, be reliable, learn your craft, help your people, raise the quality of whatever room you enter. A purpose does not have to impress the world. It has to make you more alive and more useful. Number 5. Freedom without commitment becomes emptiness. Modern life sells us maximum options, no limits, no labels, no obligations, keep everything open, and that sounds like freedom. But after a while, a life with no commitments becomes weightless in the worst way. Because meaning needs friction, it needs constraints, standards, repetition, sacrifice. You don't create meaning by keeping every door open. You create it by choosing which doors you're willing to close. Number 6. You cannot outsource meaning to achievement. Achievement can support meaning, but it cannot replace it. You can hit the goal, get the money, win the status, prove the point, and still feel empty if none of it is connected to something deeper. Because success asks, did I win? While meaning asks, was this worth becoming? Very different question. Number 7. The people around you shape what feels meaningful. Meaning is not pure individual. If everyone around you worships status, you'll start thinking status is the point. If everyone around you avoids responsibility, responsibility will feel like a burden instead of an honor. If everyone around you lives distracted, depth will feel strange. So choose your environment carefully, not because you're weak, because you're human. And number 8. You don't discover meaning by thinking forever. You discover it by living. Reflection helps, but endless self-analysis can become spiritual procrastination. You don't think your way into a meaningful life from the couch. You test things, you build things, you serve people, you make promises, you do something long enough for it to start speaking back. And maybe that's the mistake, to think that a meaningful life should somehow reveal itself to us, as if with enough thinking we'll eventually find the correct answer. But your life is probably answering the question already. Look at what you protect, what you keep showing up for, what you're willing to struggle with, who depends on you, what you refuse to abandon even when nobody is watching. Meaning may be much less mysterious when we make it. It may simply be what happens when you decide that something is worth your time, your effort, your discomfort, and eventually a piece of your life. The question was never what is the meaning of life, it's what am I willing to give myself to? Because whatever your answer is, that's probably where meaning begins.